Shaping Success with Wes Tankersley is brought to you by Aggressive Marketing Solutions, your solution for all business social media needs. If you need a team of social media marketers and content creators to help you build your brand on social media, text WES 2020 to 541-709-6502 today. Get started building your brand on social media. Success is defined differently by every individual. Some have never even considered what it is. I hope when I get older I'll be successful. What does that even mean? Money? Cars? Big house? On this show, we strive to look at it a little deeper, learning from successful individuals on what they believe success really is and how to obtain it. Everybody, enjoy the show. This is Shaping Success with Wes Tankersley.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. Welcome to the show. This is Shaping Success. I am your host, Wes Tankersley. Before we get started with the show here, let's talk about a couple things. I just wanted to say, if you are watching this right now live on Facebook, please click that watch party. Get it going right now. Share this with everyone so that we can push this out and reach as many people as possible. Also, if you'd like to donate to the show, there's going to be a link at the top of the video here the whole time. Go ahead and donate if you can. We'll talk about the last question sponsor that we have going on here in a little bit. And so without further ado, this is episode 27. Our guest is Brian Sales. Brian resides in Virginia Beach, Virginia. He was born in Alabama. He spent a few years there before he ended up in Indiana and now in Virginia. He's an Army Navy vet, and he's the host of the See Through It podcast, as well as the owner of the Warriors brand. Brian, did I miss anything?
No, you nailed it all.
I nailed it all. All right.
You nailed it all.
Well, thanks for taking the time for being here.
No problem.
I appreciate it.
No problem. I definitely feel like I've made it since the show is called Shaping Success. I feel like I'm, someone's taking notice. So thank you for having me.
Yeah, well, no problem. The show is called Shaping Success because it's different for everyone. And, I've known you for probably a couple months now, and we've talked back and forth about a lot of the things that you're doing. And we'll get into some of those details here shortly. Can you tell us a little bit more about you? Obviously, you're in Virginia now, but you started out in Alabama, like we talked about, lived in Indiana. Tell us a little bit about your life and where you've been and what you've kind of done.
Well, was born in Alabama, Alabaster, about 10, 15 minutes away from Birmingham. Lived there all the way up till I was in 6th or 7th grade or something like that. And then we moved to Indiana. And from Indiana, I went to high school, went to middle school there for a year and a half, I believe. And then I went to high school. I've had some kids, my kids there in Indiana. I joined the military there in Indiana, went to the Navy in 2008. Before I got to the Navy, I had a little setback. I dropped out of school when I had my daughter. And I was, bouncing around from job to job, trying to figure out what I was going to do. And then I had my son, and I was bouncing around, still trying to figure out what I was going to do. Then I joined the military, joined the Navy, became a culinary specialist. I was stationed in Virginia, and that's where I'm at now, in Virginia Beach. I was stationed in Virginia. I was in Virginia for 4 years with the Navy, with a squadron. Went out to sea on an aircraft carrier, 2 different aircraft carriers during my time here. Moved up in rank pretty fast. I almost made second class petty officer in 4 years. I remember when I got to my command, my master chief, who is like second in charge of the enlisted personnel, told me that I wasn't going to be able to make second class petty officer within 4 years. And I came close. I missed it by 7 points. So if I would have signed an extension, I definitely would have made that second class petty officer. And then, after that, I got out of the military and was just bouncing around a lot, trying to figure out what I'm going to do with myself, and was working some more jobs and just wasn't being fulfilled. Like I was missing that structure, that discipline, and that camaraderie that I was getting from the military. And then, so I went back into the military. I went into the army. I'm kind of like jumping to like the big points that
Yeah,
were,
yeah. No,
uh,
definitely. We got you.
yeah. So I joined the army. Um, in 2018, I joined the army. I got injured. The army retired me. So now I'm here in Virginia. I moved from Indiana in 2019 or 2020 actually this year. I moved here this year. I moved to Virginia this year, and now I'm here, and I'm just trying to get things rolling. But yeah, my whole life I felt like I've been trying to either prove people wrong or reach a level that I am um, satisfied with. I don't know if that's the correct way of putting that, but um, I felt like I've always been trying to prove people wrong, and that goes back to like the story that I was telling you about my master chief. He said that I can't do something within 4 years because I don't know why that was the case, but I definitely almost made that mark. And I remember when I was in high school, I weighed like 115 pounds, and I was playing football. And everyone wanted to crush me. And it was like, why are you out there? You can't play football. You're too small. And from there, I was trying to prove people wrong. Um, yeah, I felt like my whole life I've been trying to prove people wrong and show that I can do. And I remember when I was growing up in school, teachers used to say that um, if Brian put his mind to it, he could definitely do whatever he wants. If Brian would stop trying to follow, he could definitely lead everyone that he's trying to follow with, or be in a group with. And it's crazy. I didn't realize that mentality until different points in my life. Instead of realizing that while I was in school, I could have been so much further along. But things happen for a reason. Things
And
happen
that's the
for a
funny thing
reason.
about that is that we sit there and, I was kind of the same way. It was, I tried to figure out what my path was. I went to college. I failed the first time. And that's one of those things. It's like people tell you that you need to do things a certain way and you try it and it's not your way. And you always come back to trying to find what makes you happy. And so
Hmm.
it's kind of a crazy thing. Um, you touched a little bit on like the Navy and the camaraderie and all those things that you had with that. Can you talk a little bit about how that kind of molded you to who you are today? How that I know that like me, we're both up pretty early in the morning. It's just kind of this regimen
Hmm.
that we have and something like that. I mean, do you miss that regimen? Does that help you with your everyday life and what you're doing today?
So with that, like that was a part of me before I even joined the military. My dad, he used to get us up like early. I mean, there were times in the summer where we would be up at like 6 or 5:30, and we would like look around and have this question like, we the only kids up in the world right now? It's summertime. We just got out of school. Why are we
Yeah.
the only kids up in the world? And so that just stuck with me. And so when I got into the Navy, it was easy, especially in basic, because they would come in, wake us up, and I would just be able to like, hop out of the rack, get dressed or whatever, and be on the line. And it was the same way throughout my, Navy, Army. So that part really wasn't too hard. But the Navy, I missed the structure, and you know, they basically lay out what you're going to be doing, and you got to be here at a certain time. You got to be in this uniform, and you're going to work from this time to this time, and boom, you know what you're doing, and that all you have to do is do what you're supposed to do, and you're fine. So I missed that. And if you do what you're supposed to do, and you go beyond the call of duty, you'll be rewarded, you'll be recognized, and all of that. So I missed all of that, and when I came back to the civilian world and I started working the regular jobs, it was just different. Like there was no discipline, there was no structure. You saw people showing up late. You just saw so much, and it's just like I don't even like I don't even know how to describe it, but it was like a shell shock. Like, where am I at?
Right.
What is happening right now? Why are these managers not firing these people? And then
Yeah.
you're at work, you're in uniform, you're looking good, you're doing what you're supposed to do, and you can't get a raise or you can't move up in position because whatever the case may be. So that made me miss the military a whole bunch. I mean, a lot more than normal. And like I said, I got out in 2015, worked some more jobs, and I was missing it again. I felt empty, and I was missing it again. And so I joined the army. And I guess in my advanced age, I say in my advanced age, um, the my body started slowing down. But the army retired me, and now I'm just trying to. I'm in that same struggle, just trying to find, I guess, like self value and self worth. But it's a grind. I'm grinding and continue to grind to succeed in life.
Yeah. Well, and I can completely understand that process, because for me it was kind of the same thing. I worked for this tire company for quite a while, and it was pretty structured. It was pretty much, I'd show up every day at a certain time. I'd work a certain amount of time, and then I go into education, and they give you this, everything's kind of like there is no structure to it. And I love
Mhm.
structuring my day. So I had to figure out a way to make that happen. And I think that that's probably an adjustment that you had to make. Sounds like you had to. How do you deal with that kind of in civilian life now? Do you do a lot of things regimented in your household and things like that?
Yeah, so I continue to get up early. I continue to get my workout in. When we had that, I mean, I guess Corona is still around. So with everything shut down, it was tough. Mentally, it was very tough. I didn't have any I didn't have anything to be able to like get my physical mind out of my way. I couldn't focus. It was rough, but as soon as things opened up, I was able to get back into the gym and keep a routine. And then I was on a seasonal break from my podcast, so that helped a lot. That I didn't have to worry or stress about trying to put out some content. So I had a break from that, and when I came back, I was in the gym. I was feeling good. I had a lot of time to process a lot of stuff that was going on, and but yeah, I try to make sure I keep doing the same thing over and over again. Get up early, do what I need to do so I can prepare for the rest of my day instead of running around lost. So,
Yeah, and consistency is a pretty big key, I think, with anything that you do. You did
absolutely.
bring up the fact that you have a podcast, and we talked a lot about that today, about consistency and posting and things like that. Can you tell us? Why don't you tell us a little bit about the podcast? Because this is how I ran into you, and I listened to it, and I was very moved by a lot of the stuff that you were saying, especially with the current situation and the way that things
Hmm.
are. There's a lot of great content on there that's very objective, and I love listening to you talk about it, because me being who I am, I don't have a lot insight into that, So can you talk a little bit about what the podcast is and why you named it what you named it?
So the podcast is called See Through It Podcast. Why I picked that name, I don't even. It just literally, I was sitting on the couch and I was looking for a logo, and I saw a logo. I saw this man looking through the spyglass. You've seen the logo. You've
Yeah.
seen it. So
Yeah.
he was looking through the spyglass, and it just came out see through it, and I was like, "That's perfect." Like because I was tired of looking at like ESPN and all the news and all the stuff that's they're putting their own spin on things and like playing to people's emotions, and people are getting caught up in their emotions and whatever the TV is telling them instead of seeing through like see through and what's going on. Like, hold on, why are they telling us this? Why are they using this tone? Why are they being so descriptive about a person's color instead of just telling us this crime happened and this was the outcome? Um, so I named it the See Through It podcast because I wanted people to stop being blind to what was going on, stop letting the media play them, stop letting the media play with your emotions to get you to react a certain way to further their agenda and all of that. So that's basically the whole podcast, like just being objective, giving you a different perspective on how I view things in a good in a good clear voice. No, I'm not trying to pull you one way, not trying to push you one way, not trying to make you see what I'm saying. I'm just telling you clear cut. This is how I see it. This is what's going on, and there's a right and there's a wrong. Now we need to decide, is this the right way that we should be handling this, or are these people in the wrong? Like, what we need to decide. We can't be on both sides of the fence. We can't straddle that fence. So basically just opening our eyes and being objective to everything, because I mean it's easy to choose sides on anything and just allow the media to play us like clowns. And I was just tired of that. And I mean that goes to anything, sports, like
Right.
everything that the media pushes. It's biased to one side all the time. So see
And it
through a
doesn't
podcast.
matter, what side it doesn't matter what side you believe. It's either there is all one way or all the other. There's no in between. And that was what was so refreshing about listening to it. I think one of the first episodes I listened to you had was about Drew Brees and the situation that he went through, and then seeing both sides of the whole perspective of that situation. And it just kind of made it a little bit easier for me to realize that there is two sides to the story, and that you need to be able to see through, obviously, what it is, and then decide
Hmm.
on your own, instead of just believing what one person says or one side says. Do the research, figure it out on your own, and then decide that
Hmm.
way. Don't just take someone's word for it. I mean, that's kind of what I got
Absolutely.
out of
Absolutely. I mean, you're spot on. That's with that episode. I remember that episode. I was mad that he walked back his statement because, like, again, we're in America, and we should all be able to have our own opinions, as long as we are not bashing another person or disrespecting or threatening someone's life. You should be able to have your own opinion about whatever the situation may be. Um, it's about being objective and allowing someone to say how they feel about something. And again, we don't always have to agree on everything. We
it.
can
Right.
literally have a discussion in a peaceful, respectful manner and walk away from that and like, okay, well, that's how he feels. It's how I feel. And that's it. Like, we don't have to bash each other in the head to be like, you better be on my side, or it's over. It, you're not breathing anymore. And that's a dangerous place. I mean, you see what's going on right now. It's bad. And the
And
media's
one
playing,
of the
like,
things
just
that,
pushing it.
yeah, one of the things I want to bring up though too is that we're having this conversation right now, and you're in this place, and I've talked to you previously before. Obviously I know you, but we've talked a little bit about this space that you lived in for a long time, where it was your way was right and you were going to prove it.
Hmm.
What made you change the way that you thought? What was your thought process on that? Because I was kind of the same way with my negative mindset. Glass is half empty. When something good happens, then whatever, I'm happy. But if it doesn't, then I'm just going to be upset about it all the time. It's kind of the
Hmm.
same thing with you. You're talking about seeing through this, but at one point you had to make the change, right? Because you weren't really seeing through it yourself, correct?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, that's the one thing I stress to my viewers and the listeners. Like, you can always change your mindset. You can change how your perspective was, and always improve to become better. Because, like I told them, I was a very toxic person, and what what actually brought on the change was, when I saw people that I was pushing away, that I thought was that I so called loved, and I was just pushing everyone away because I wanted to be right, and they couldn't be around that. It was a painful. I had to grow from that. That was because I was sitting in my apartment by myself, and the mind is powerful, and it just plays back all your flaws like a whole movie. It was just playing back everything that I've done as a movie. And at that time, I went in. I think I went into the bathroom, looked in the mirror, and I was like, "It's time to change." Like, I can't stand here in this mirror no more and lie to myself. And that's a part of my bio on my Instagram. The man in the mirror is finally smiling. I'm wiser. Something else, I forgot what I put, but the man in mirror is finally smiling. I was able to look myself in the face and say, it's time for a change. No more of the old ways. It's time to get better. Because, I mean, it was toxic. It was bad. And I had to change. I had to change.
So you talk about making that change and how you just you walked into the bathroom, you looked in the mirror, and that was where you decided that you were going to make that change. Now, I know from experience, my question to you would be, is it easy? Can you tell someone, hey, this was the easiest thing that I ever did? Does it still creep in your mind, or is it something that you have to work on daily?
Is it easy? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Is it easy? Every day, it is a struggle. I mean, every day it's a battle. And with, like I said, there's a lot of stuff that I already deal with mentally, from like, past failures or, but I think I haven't even told the people on my podcast this, but I view my retirement from the army as a failure because I wanted to be in uniform. I wanted to wear that uniform. I wanted to be serving my country, and uh, that plays with me a lot. And so my mind take that and use anger, like stir up some type of anger in me, and then I can feel myself trying to get back in that whole mindset because I was a very angry person. So that whole being right thing that fed off that angry energy. So like I said, every day it is a struggle. Every day it is a mental battle, fighting to make sure I walk that line and I continue to do the right thing. I continue to make the right decisions. I continue to make, I continue to have these conversations with myself to make sure I'm doing the right thing. And because I don't want to become that person again. I know what that person can do, and I know with all the stuff that I have already been through, how worse it could be, and how like far left field I can get. So I don't even want to visit that. So yes, it is a struggle, but if it's a mindset, and if you want to change, you have to take it on and be like, all right, I'm changing. This is not a flip the switch on, flip the switch up. No, this is a flip the
Right.
switch on and grind, sweat it out, grind every day.
Yeah, and that is one of the things that I struggle with daily, but it is I feel so much better when it's the other way. And so that's why I continue to do what I do, and I hope that you do. And I'll let you know, I mean, yesterday or the day before we were talking a little bit, and we kind of get in this place where sometimes things that you deal with every day bugs you a little bit, and you shared a couple things with me and I shared a couple things with you, and there's just these things that make, that help me, and it's good to talk to other people about it too, because they're able to see where you're at. So
Yeah.
I appreciate that. And I haven't said it yet, and I have a hard time giving compliments, but thank you for the service that you did do. I mean, that's the hardest part for me. It's like I'm so thankful that there are people who were willing to go into the military, because I myself is a big chicken. I graduated high school and I would have ended up right in Desert Storm. And I was scared that they were going to start a draft and I didn't want to go. And there was luckily enough people who were willing to do it because I didn't want to. So I'm glad that, there were people who were willing to do that. So
No
thank you.
problem. No problem. No problem.
Okay, so we're gonna talk about the Warriors collection here real quick, and then we'll get to the final question. But the Warriors collection, I have a shirt sitting back here on the other side.
Yeah.
Here we go. This is my Warriors collection shirt. I asked Brian to make me one in red because red's my color, and so I bought this from him. I've got some stickers. You can't see them; they're up there. They're little guys, but we'll get some bigger ones. And but can you tell us a little bit about the Warriors collection? Why you created this brand? This is a brand that it's right now you do T-shirts, stickers, coffee cups, some patches. We got a patch up in the corner there.
Yeah.
But it's not just about a clothing line. It's about a brand. There we go. There's the patch.
It's about
That's
a
awesome. I
brand.
got to give me one of those. What's
Yeah,
the brand mean to
and that's
you?
what the brand means to me is it's a bunch of, like I said, aspects I feel makes up a warrior. We all have that warrior in us, whether we want to acknowledge it or we do acknowledge it. Like I said, going back to me battling myself. I had to battle, and I had to make that change. That was a warrior in me that wanted to do right, and boom, here he is. Um, it's just a bunch of collections of things like honor, respect, commitment, loyalty, things that I feel that are necessary for a warrior to be a true warrior. I don't know. It's just thinking about it. It's so much, man. It's so
Yeah.
much. Trying to keep it all
Well,
together.
there's
Just like it's crazy because I never, like I said, I haven't even had a real like deep conversation on my own show about my brand and my whole past and to tie it together. I think this is like the first time I've actually like tried to tie it together and see how it all came to be. But yeah, the Warriors collection means a lot to me because I feel like I fought uh, a fight and I won, and I'm still fighting a fight that that I know I'm going to win. But like I said, it's a battle every day. It is a battle, and those virtues that I talk about, honoring people that came before you. Like I said, with my military, the background of my military, and even in my like with my family, honoring my dad, my mom, people that came before me, and trying to represent them in the right way. Loyalty, remaining loyal to my wife, my kids, family, people in my community, doing the right thing by them, commitment, being committed to all those things, integrity, being honest and doing the right thing all the time, respect, showing everyone respect, even though I might not agree with them on whatever the case may be, still showing them respect, but letting them also know that don't take my respect as a weakness. I will not tolerate disrespect, but I will show you the utmost respect. By all means, I would not disrespect you, but it's a two-way street. And the courage to do the right thing, the courage to stand up, in the face of danger, the courage to, defend the elderly, defend my house, defend people that need to be defended. Those are the things that I feel that are part of the Warriors collection. I feel like I, embody those things, especially during my whole process of changing from the person who I was to the person who I am now, and the person that that I am right now, battling, the past mind state and the current environment of things that is happening today. So um, it's a rough battle, but we all have a warrior in us, and we all have a warrior in us.
That's what I love about it. And one of the things that we've talked about in a couple groups that we've been in is that a warrior it doesn't have a lot. It's part of it is that, yes, you are a veteran, but it has nothing to do with the military. It has to do with being a warrior. So the
Absolutely.
title is Finding a Warrior Within. And I've told you this
Hmm.
multiple times. I consider myself a success warrior because I'm trying to find how people create their success and show it to other people so that they're willing to try and find it their own on their own. So
Absolutely. Like
that's
there's different types of ways of being a warrior. You don't have to be in the military. Just being a stand-up citizen and doing the right thing, you know, is a warrior, because there's people out there that are pushing people to do the wrong thing. Those are not warriors. It's hard for a person to fight those temptations and do the right thing, and that's what a warrior is. So, yeah, you don't have to be military to be a warrior.
yeah. Okay, so before we get to the last question here, I want to ask you, can you tell us where we can buy Warriors Collection stuff? I know you're working on a store, but right now there's one way that we can get it. That's how I got it from you. And then where can we listen to the podcast and whatever any other information you want to share with the audience so they can find you?
All right. So if you were looking or interested for Warriors collection stuff, IG, Instagram, at Warriors underscore collection underscore. Follow that page and then send me a message. I do everything through PayPal to make sure everything's a security, security for you, security for me, and we're all good. For the podcast, I'm on YouTube, Facebook, Facebook.com/STIPODCAST. Like that page, give it a thumbs up there. YouTube, just search See Through It Podcast. And you can also find me on Anchor.fm, Apple, Spotify, all those different podcasts where you get your podcasts. But yeah.
Well, I'll link all those in the show notes. So if you're listening to this on the podcast, just go to the show notes and check it out. You'll be able to find that stuff. Hit up Brian for some awesome clothing. I really love the shirt that I got from him. I was a little concerned that it wasn't going to fit me because I'm kind of in between sizes. I got a little COVID weight going on here, but it fit perfectly. So I was pretty stoked when I was able to just throw it on and wear it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to get to what we started having here last week, and we're going to continue to do this as the final question sponsor. Okay, so if you would like to be a final question sponsor, the link to go and donate to the show is on the top of the screen here. It keeps popping back and forth. There it is. It's www.tvpbn.com/channels/SS. You can go in there. You can donate through PayPal. You can donate through a couple different ways. The person who donates the most will get to be the final question sponsor. We all know what the final question is if you've been paying attention. If not, we'll get to it in a second. This week's final question sponsor is Blind Appeal Window Coverings. For ultimate service and lasting relationships in the Treasure Valley, give Blind Appeal Window Coverings a call at 208-888-1056 and tell them that Wes sent you. If you would like to be the final question sponsor, again, click that link up above, get logged in, make a donation, and we'll get you there. So, Brian, the last question that we have here is the same question that we ask every single time. Success is different for every single person. For you, it may be something different than what it is for me. For me, I like to help people. I want to make them see that there is different ways of being successful. So what we always ask is, what is the shape of success? What is the shape of your success? How do you define success? At the end of the day, where is that for you?
Where is that for me? That is basically getting up and going after it. Not saying you have to chase it, but making sure you're, putting a foot and getting to where you need to be. Grinding, staying consistent, discipline. All those things, they go hand in hand. And if you can't be consistent and disciplined in what you're doing, it's going to be hard to reach success in anything, even making up your bed. It's going to be hard to reach that. So consistency and discipline and, just going for it every day. And I think that's my mindset, battling every day. Just keep going. So that's success for me.
Well, Brian, it's been an awesome interview. I'd love to get to talk to you a little bit more, and I know that we will talk some more throughout this, but I want to thank you for taking the time to be on the show. It's been a real treat talking to you about this whole situation, getting to know a little bit more about you. So Thank you very much for taking the time to do that.
No problem. I had definitely enjoyed it. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Well, that's the end of the show. I just wanted to talk about a few things here. Like I said before, if you would like to be the sponsor of the last question, go make a donation to the show. It helps keep the server running so that we can, if you're watching this on that link, it'll be live there from here on out, as long as we can keep it going. I want to thank my sponsors at Aggressive Marketing Solutions and my producer, TVPBN. If you are listening to this on the podcast, please head over and give it a 5-star rating and a review. Share it with whoever you can. If you have any feedback, feel free to reach out to me at west.tankersley on Instagram. I have a link tree. You can find me anywhere. Until next time, I challenge you to try and find the shape of your success.
This was Shaping Success with Wes Tankersley, brought to you by Aggressive Marketing Solutions. If you need a team of marketers to help you with social media, all you need to do to start is text Wes 2020 to 541-709-6502. 541-709-6502. That is Aggressive Marketing Solutions. Have a great day. See you next time.